On today's episode of Chicago Bears Now, we are going to make the case to keep Justin Fields. A lot of Caleb talk recently, myself included. Justin Fields still on this team. He could still be here. We're going to get to that. My name is Harrison Graham. Today's show is sponsored by 8 Sleep. Are you struggling to get sleep at night? Do you want to wake up with more energy? 8 Sleep's going to help you do that. We'll tell you how later on in the show. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports. That's going to get you $200 off their best item, which, again, we will tell you about. All right, we're going to make the case for Justin Fields on today's show and why he is still a viable option for the Chicago Bears, which I feel like I've mentioned, but maybe I haven't done as good of a job recently of just recognizing that is still an option. I've said it, but I haven't dedicated a ton of airtime to it because there's been so much talk around Caleb Williams and the number 1 pick. So I want to make this show Justin Fields-centric and why there are still avenues of keeping him and how they could make sense. All right, if you want to keep Justin Fields in Chicago, smash that like button. I know a lot of you guys do. If you want to keep him here, hit the like button. If you don't, tell me why you don't down in the comment section. All right, so we make the case here. Number 1, year-by-year improvement, which is absolutely valid. I think he has gotten better every single year in the NFL, as he has played 3 seasons under 2 different coordinators, mind you. So he's had to kind of adapt and learn different systems on the fly. His first year, the completion percentage was sub 59%, worse than 1-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. That improved in year 2. Took another step forward in year 3. You wish it was a little bit more. We'll explain on that in a second. You look at the rushing numbers. I know they went down this year, but he also played in less games this year because he did have that wrist injury. He's still, to me, a top-tier rusher in the NFL at the quarterback position. In fact, if you ask me right now to pick one quarterback to be the best runner in the NFL, I would take Justin Fields. Now, 2023 is a little tough to evaluate because I do think he improved as a passer, but it was still inconsistent, like week to week. Like that week 4, week 5 stretch was awesome against Denver in Minnesota, or against Denver in Washington. And then that Minnesota game in week 6, it wasn't good. Then he got hurt in that game. And then the final 7 games, there was some good, there were some not so good. Like the Cleveland game was pretty ugly. The Minnesota game wasn't great, although he did make the throw late. It's kind of been this roller coaster. I think it was less of a roller coaster this year. I do think it was better, but we didn't see that massive year 3 leap that we saw out of Jalen Hurts, that we saw out of Josh Allen. Now, let's be clear. Those guys, better offensive minds, better pieces around them. That is completely valid. Luke Getsy did not embrace who Justin Fields is as a quarterback, so that's completely fair, and I agree with it. Again, I think he's a top-tier runner. You don't have to worry about that, at least in the near term. I think for 2, 3, maybe even 4 or 5 years, you can get really good running production out of him. The question is, and why it's such a big debate on what they're going to do is, can he take a notable step forward as a passer? Improvements there? Yes. Is it enough improvement? Maybe, maybe not. That's the question, but I do want to be positive here. I do want to make the case, and there's no disputing that he has improved every single year. All right, number 2. You do have 2 years of team control. Obviously, resetting with a rookie quarterback gives you more time with a cheaper quarterback, but it's not like you have to break the bank for the next 2 years. You've got him for like $6 million this year, and then the 5th-year option would be like $20-25 million bucks. So you'd have him for 2 years of team control and no more than $30 million total bucks. That for a starting quarterback, that's pretty cheap. Like an average of $15 million per year there, roughly, 12 to $15 million. You could also do the Jordan Love deal. Like maybe you don't do the 5th-year option and you give him a 1-year extension for 2025. That's a little bit cheaper than the 5th-year option, but you give him incentives to reach it. Like that's what the Packers did last year. They gave him a 5th-year they declined the 5th-year option. They gave him a 1-year extension for 2024. That only had $13.5 million guaranteed. So they kind of hedged a little bit like, hey, Jordan, we like you, but since you haven't played yet, we're going to decline your 5th year. But here's some money. Take it or leave it. He took it. Maybe you could do that with Justin. I'm not sure if he would take it or not, but maybe he would. You could do a similar structure. And if he has a big 2023, then you give him like the bigger extension in 24, which is what Jordan Love is likely going to get this offseason. Would you give Justin Fields the 5th-year option? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. If you're keeping him this year, I'd be fine giving it to him. Now, ideally, you could convince him to do a Jordan Love type of deal, but if you do keep him, I'd be open to the 5th-year option. I'm definitely not closed off on that. So let me know what you guys think. Why for yes, or give me an in for no. Before we get to more reasons for keeping Justin Fields, because we are making the case for him today. Speaking of a case, you want the best case out there? How about this from 8 Sleep? Start sleeping better, because today's show is brought to you by 8 Sleep, the high-tech solution to your age-old sleeping issues. Their Pod 3 cover, aka case like I mentioned, will slip right over your mattress, bringing heating and cooling technology that keeps you comfortable and sleeping deeper for a better, more restful night. I picked up my Pod 3 cover from 8 Sleep a few months back, and I've never slept better. Sleep science shows that in order to sleep our best, our body temperature needs to drop in the early and middle part of sleep and rise in the morning. The pod cover will improve your sleep by automatically adjusting your bed's temperature based on your individual needs. The cover can be added to any bed like a fitted sheet and allows you and your partner to cool or warm your side of the bed as low as 55 degrees and up to 110 degrees. Not only does it keep you at the perfect temperature all night, the pod also tracks your sleep and health metrics. On average, users see their sleep quality improve by up to 32% after just 1 month on the pod. So sleep better. Start the new year right with 8 Sleep's Pod 3. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports. That's 8sleep.com/chatsports to get $200 off. You see how it syncs with your phone and has all that data there as well. 8sleep.com/chatsports. $200 off. Link in the comments and in the description. I love the Pod 3 from 8 Sleep. And it's great if you have a partner too, because again, each side of the bed can have a different temperature control. All right, number 3 as we make the case for Justin, and I think a significant one. He is beloved by his teammates. And you can be the best quarterback, you can have it all. If your teammates don't like you, there's a ceiling on what you can do as a football team. It's not like other positions. Like receivers, corners, sometimes not everybody's going to like you. But if you're shutting down the other receiver, or if you're making plays at receiver, you'll live with that. Quarterback, though, if you're not liked in the building, it almost doesn't matter how good you are. I mean, DJ Moore, over and over again. I want Justin as my quarterback. He's our quarterback. Jaquan Brisker, we all want Justin. He's tweeting, retweeting people who are supporting Justin all the time. These are just a couple of examples. I mean, I have not seen a single, crack in the wall of, he's not a great leader. He's not a good team. The work ethic, the leadership, that all is not a question with Justin. DeMarcus Walker tweeting earlier in the playoffs when he's watching the Ravens. Just imagine when Justin Fields gets developed like Lamar Jackson. They love this guy. They believe in this guy. Even more important, it's not just they like him. They believe in him. And that's huge. So, again, if they do move on from him, whoever takes his place, he's going to have to win over the locker room, and that may not be the easiest task. Now, again, Ryan Poles has to do what he thinks is best for the future of this franchise, but the quarterback you currently have, he can handle being the QB in this city. He is a great teammate and a great leader. His teammates and coaches do really like him a lot, so that part of it is there. If you think he can improve a lot still as a passer especially, then there are a lot of reasons to keep this quarterback in place. Stay locked in like Justin Fields does. You see him in the gym already. Hit that subscribe button, wall-to-wall coverage throughout the offseason and leading up to next season as well. Subscribe today. It's youtube.com/BearsNow. Don't miss out as we got coverage throughout the offseason. Number 4, the unknown of the draft, which is a completely true thing. There is no guarantees. Now, some draft analysts and some scouts think Caleb Williams, who's my top QB prospect, is in the Andrew Luck, the Peyton Manning category of prospect. Now, I don't know if I'd go as far as Peyton Manning, but he is a very strong prospect. But there's been very strong prospects flop before. Now, don't get in the chat and say Trubisky to me. Caleb Williams is a much stronger prospect than Trubisky. But the point is even when guys get labeled as can't-miss prospects, there's no guarantee. There is no guarantee. So, there is a legitimate thought and idea to have of sometimes it's better to go with what you know. And even though Justin Fields has flaws, if you use him to his strengths, you can win with him. Can you win it all with him? I think that's the question you got to ask yourself. And if the answer is a firm no, then it's tough to justify keeping him. But if you think he's still on the upward trajectory and you can, ultimately take this thing all the way with Justin, then yeah, maybe you just stick with what you got and you don't risk the unknowns of the NFL draft. And that's what gets me to this last point too. You should have been a playoff team with him this year. You blew 3 games like in historic fashion. I mean, you should have been a 10-7 team despite starting 0-4. I mean, look at these collapses. These are all-time bad, dude. Up 28-7 against the Broncos with just over a quarter left. Lost. Up 26-14 with just over 4 minutes left against the Lions. Lost. Up 10 points in the fourth quarter against the Browns. Lost. The Week 4 and 11 losses, your win percentage, according to ESPN's FPI at points in that game, were over 99%, and you lost. Browns game, over 92% at one point, and you lost. That's hard to do, man, and you lost all 3 of them. Now, is Justin Fields blameless in those losses? No. Is the majority of blame on him? I don't think so. Now, I think the Cleveland game, you could say the offense clearly needed to do more. I mean, the defense gave you 14 of 17 points. Now, Robert Tonyan drops what should have been a 70-yard touchdown in that game. If he catches that early on, did the Bears just run away with that one? That's not on Justin Fields. Defense collapses against Denver and Detroit. That's definitely not on Justin Fields. Is he blameless? No. But those 3 losses were catastrophic and, quite frankly, on the head coach, if we're going to put it bluntly. Who do you want is the Bears 2024 quarterback? You tell me down in the comment section below. And one thing I didn't even mention here on this segment, because I wanted to keep it just about the quarterback, is not even factoring in what you could get in a trade down, which is a lot of assets. So that would be another reason. But I wanted to keep it just about who Justin is as a player and a person and a teammate and all that stuff. So you let me know who you want the Bears quarterback to be. The bottom line is this. Justin Fields is a viable quarterback. I have said that. He is a starter in this league. We just didn't know the Bears would get the number 1 pick in a great QB draft. If the Bears were picking 4, I don't think we're talking about this. I really don't. Now, would there be some mock drafts out there of trade up to 1, trade 4 and 9 to get up to 1 for Caleb? Like, of course that would be out there. But I don't think the storylines would be dominated by Caleb Williams, maybe Drake May, Caleb Williams. You got to move on from Justin Fields. I think it's gotten that way because this is unique. You can reset the QB clock. And there's a couple quarterbacks in this draft that people feel are very, very special. So it's not really about Justin, the outside noise. I do want to make that clear. Like, Justin is viable. I think he'll start somewhere next year. It might even still be here in Chicago. And like I said in this video, 5 or 6 bullet points, there are legitimate reasons to think that he could be the quarterback for this team, and you could feel good about that. All right, subscribe to the channel. The case for Justin Fields is closed on this episode. We'll see how the Bears view it. We don't know what Ryan Poles is thinking. If you want more Bears content, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications. More QB talk, news, rumors, draft, free agency coverage. We got it all coming up throughout the offseason.